Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So I want to find out how many Genie Gifts does it cost to complete all your legacy campaigns. You can see on every single one you can go to the campaign store and you can spend those Genie Gifts to get these bags, which gives you the currency. And then what you will do is you'll use that currency to get your Boon points. And that would be the main reason to complete these legacy campaigns. For this video, we're going to focus on how many Genie Gifts does it cost to obtain all 41 of the Boon points that you can get through these legacy campaigns via Genie Gifts. Right now, we have the event where we get ×2 legacy campaign currency. So that will double the amount of currency we obtain per Genie Gift. That is generally the only time you want to spend Genie Gifts. However, it's currently broken on the Path of the Fallen campaign. You will not receive double the amount of currency, those canyon iron bars, during this ×2 legacy campaigns, as this was a new legacy campaign and I guess they forgot to code it as such. I assume they'll update that in the near future. Now before we get started, if this is not your first time getting through these legacy campaigns with a character, I highly recommend go to that character of which you have completed these. Either use Genie Gifts to get more currency of that campaign or do some quests and create these Signets of Patronage. They will cost you 50,000 astral diamonds though. Now I have created a Signet of Patronage for every single campaign except Descent into Avernus and Path of the Fallen. Because in order to create them, you need campaign currency, which you cannot get through the Genie Gifts. You have to do questing in order to obtain it. Now what happens when you use these Signets of Patronage, when you go to your legacy campaign, click use here, is that the costs become significantly less. For most currencies, it will be a half, like we'll only need 5 scrolls instead of 10. In Storm King's Thunder, you will only need to spend half the Von and Blood. But keep in mind with like Icewind Dale, yes, these things will be halved, but the reputation cost will not be halved. So it's pretty pointless to use a Signet of Patronage on Icewind Dale because you're locked with the reputation anyway, which you can get through the Genie Gifts, but you gain no credit from a Signet. The rest of the campaigns, it's very valuable to use a Signet, and I highly recommend it if you can. You will save yourself a lot of Genie Gifts as long as you have the currency. If you do not have the coins to create the Signet in like Ravenloft, then you're better off just spending the Genie Gift straight up on the character without the Signet. But in this video, I'm going to cover it as if you don't have any Signets. So just be aware that the costs on those Genie Gifts will be halved if you have a Signet in most cases. So let's begin. We start off with Dread Ring. We have 970 Genie Gifts in our bag. Let's see how many we have remaining once we fully complete this campaign. You purchase those packs and then you go and open them. You can see it says it would give us 15 Vanguard script, and when we do obtain it, it gives us 30 because of the double legacy campaigns. We are also obtaining double of those Thayan ciphers, which we need to complete these tasks. We need 1 cipher for every task. This is going to take a while. We have to wait 10 seconds between every single one. We keep completing these tasks and then we can just start one of these Boon points whenever the purple bar progresses past it. And then you have to do another 24. Be aware you will need gold for each of these tasks. So if you run out, you won't get those from Genie Gifts. You'll have to do some farming. 2 gold per task. 24 tasks, you're gonna need 48 gold to complete this. So we can do our last task there and we obtain our last Boon point from here. That is it completed. In total we spent 24 Genie Gifts just to get this campaign. That is again during ×2. You will need 48 Genie Gifts without it. So we move to the dreaded Storm King's Thunder. If we look at the Boon requirements, we're going to need 55 reputation and 3,000 Von and Blood. So we'll spend another Genie Gift. We'll just buy like 10 of these here. And now we can progress on our first Boon point. That's our first, and then you should unlock the second. all of them requiring again a ton of Von Blood, Secrets of Astoria, and 10 town supplies. Now we start to get stuck with Von Blood. We need like 15,000. We get to the last task and you can see it needs a whopping 37,000 Von Blood. Again, each Genie gift during ×2 event is giving us just 2,000. But there we go, we get the 37,000 and we can create it. But we are left with so many of the other currency that we do not need. So we may very well want to go and farm heroics and quests just to get the Von Blood, or run FBI and turn in the relics for Von Blood. But that is Storm King's Thunder completed with a total of 60 Genie gifts spent. So we move to Icewind Dale. This has a total of 5 boon points, each of them costing you also some gold, at least from the 3rd onwards. Each, again, stupidly taking 10 seconds, and then you can go and get the first boon point here. We get to our 2nd boon point, and the 3rd one here is again requiring 6 gold. The ones before did not need the gold. This next task requiring 8 gold, and now we have enough currency to actually complete the final boon point, but we cannot because we do not have 350 Carconic reputation. So you could go do some quests to get that, or yes, you can spend more Genie gifts like we will. Each one gives us 10 reputation, so that should be 20. Using another Genie gift and we're at 340. At this point, I would just go and do a quest, but if you really didn't want to, you would have to buy an extra Genie gift, of which you only need half of it for the reputation. There we go, and it unlocks the boon point. And we have completed Icewind Dale with a total of 17.5 Genie gifts required. Then we go to the Cloaked Ascendancy. Here again, we can purchase our Genie gifts. Now the problem here is we have the currency, but we cannot go and actually do anything on the campaign because it's locked. We have to complete the task, the missing link. We have to actually do a quest. So in order to do so, we have to click like start the campaign, River District unveiling, accept that, teleport to the River District, speak to Sergeant Knox, then he gets ambushed, and we get a big old speech here, and we gotta kill enemies. Complete that, speak to Neverember, get your next quest, a crown for a king, and here you just make your way through the vault, killing all the enemies. So that's finished there. On to chapter 3. Go to change your appearance, which you do not have to do at all. You will get free change appearance tokens if you don't. Search for some evidence, kill some bandits. Chapter 3 completed, and we probably have to do chapter 4 as well. The missing link. We do indeed. Go to the chasm, speak with Linkletter, and go to the cathedral. Oh, with that done, the missing link completed. Now we should be able to proceed on the campaign tasks. We can indeed. We start with the first. We've already spent 7 Genie gifts, and from there we can head up these 3 trees. You need to get to each of the top ones here to get the boon point, with all of them complete to get the 4th boon point. Doing the second tasks here, and we can do the boon ones then. You will get stuck on needing these Secrets of the Many Starred in order to actually get these boon points. We miss another 140 here, which is the equivalent of 7 Genie gifts. Collect all of our boon points here using those 7 Genie gifts. There we go, and we got our 140. That means we spent a total of 22 Genie gifts to complete the Cloaked Ascendancy. Now we go to the jungles of Chult. Here again, we can spend some Genie gifts, but this time you need to buy the correct ones. You first start by buying the ones with the Forgotten Totems. Each one during the ×2 will give you a total of 80, and it looks like we're going to have to actually do a quest in order to unlock Chult. So we start the campaign here. You'll speak to some guys in Helm's Hold, and then go on a boat and set sail for Chult. You'll comfort Minsk's hamster, Boon, giving you a cool title and achievement if you do the second option, and then beat up some Batiri. run away from a big T-Rex, and unlock the city of Port Naranzaru. And then you get the quest Prince of Chult, speak to him, and done. Now you should be able to make progress on the campaign with Genie Gifts. Yes, we can do the first task. Make sure to first spend your Genie Gifts on the Forgotten Totem bags. Then getting the Boons, first one, and then the second one, third, and the fourth as well. With just a 15 remainder, which means we spent 10 Genie Gifts just to get the first part. Luckily, we can go straight to the second part as well, but this time I believe we will need 10 Genie Gifts of the Lost Idols. And that is 8 Boon points at the cost of 20 Genie Gifts. Then we are on to Ravenloft. Again, we can buy the Bags of Dark Omens here, and we can see, unfortunately, we cannot make progress on the campaign without completing, again, our quest, Unwelcome Guests. We click Start Campaign, obtaining the quest, Unwelcome Guests. Travel to the manor. We speak to this guy right here, then the Duchess inside of the manor, heading to the Vistani camp, speaking to them, and then Madame Eva with her Taroka cards, killing a bunch of wolves, and encountering Strahd. So with the Unwelcome Guests quest completed and unlocking Barovia, we can now actually progress through these tasks. Now fortunately, you don't have to go through all of this. You can just directly finish the first task and then go to the Boons. Going to cost you 175, and each of the Genie Gifts you spend will give you 25, 50 with times 2. So with 4 Genie Gifts, we can complete the first task. And for the second one, we need 175 again. And the third will also need 175. But this time, since we already had 40 from the previous Genie Gifts, we only need to spend 3. So our third Boon point. And our fourth also needs 175. And that's the 4 Boon points from Ravenloft. A total of 15 Genie Gifts required. Then to proceed to the descent into Avernus, the Genie Gifts will just give you family crests. Now we can immediately proceed on to completing the first task. In order to get to the Boon points, you have to go through all of these tasks, unlike Ravenloft. Again, 4 Boon points at the end. Now once we get to the second task here, we're not able to continue without completing the quest Restore the Broken Wood Glyphworks. Perhaps if we just start the campaign getting the House in Need quest and heading over to the Valenhas estate, then maybe we can continue with the tasks. Speak to this guy, then to her, and beat up some demons. And arrive in Valenhas. With the House in Need completed, we should be able to continue with the progress on the campaign. Oh, no. It is locked, and apparently we have to do the story quest. We then have to do Restore the Broken Wood Glyphworks. We kill some enemies, we get their keys, then heading to the Glyphworks tunnel, killing the Baylor demon. With that complete, we make progress on the second part. And now we have to do Restore the Village Glyphworks. We speak to this guy hiding here. We enter the village sewers and beat up this demon. That one done. You can look at the time up here to see how long it takes me to do these. But then we'll need to do Restore the Devil's Hold Glyphworks. Now keep in mind, you can do all these quests again, saving you some Genie Gifts. You'll get like 50 family quests per weekly quest there that you repeat. But we pick up the quest, find the pickaxe, kill the demon, and that's that done. Now we can do that task, buy 2 more Genie Gift packs, and we now need to do the Shield of Lamuel. Speak to her, kill some demons, and that's done. Completing the task, and now you may have to still do the Last Bastion quest if you have not done that on another character on your account before. But now we can go and unlock the boons. We just need 150 requirement for each boon point. So we have spent 10 Genie Gifts to get to this point. We spend 3 more, we can get the next boon point, then another 3 for the third, And that should just be 3 more for the final 4th. Having spent 19 Genie Gifts to get through the campaign and get all the Boon points. So now we are on to the last legacy campaign, Path of the Fallen. Now keep in mind that currently it's bugged and does not benefit from the ×2 legacy campaign event, so you aren't receiving twice as much of these iron bars as you normally would. So Genie Gifts will only give 25 versus what it could be at 50. But in order to actually make any progress on this, we have to complete the quest A Friend in Need, and most likely all the main storyline quests like we've had to do with Valenhas here. So we need to pick up the quest from Alric, which is A Friend in Need. That means you have to have gained access to Descent into Avernus and done the initial quest with that before you move to the Path of the Fallen. We just proceed along this quest line, speaking to Lulu, and arriving in Avernus. That's Friend in Need completed, but we don't have any currency, so time to spend Genie Gifts. Then we can complete A Lost Soul. And again, it's like Valenhas. We probably have to go through all of these parts in order to actually access the boons. We have to do tune up first, collecting scrap, learning to drive your car around in the wasteland, entering the Wandering Emporium, and then getting Ride to Hell. Enter the memory fragment, killing some demons here with Zariel, and we're done. Now we can complete that task, get some more Genie Gifts, and we have to do the quest The Fall. Enter the memory fragment and reset it because it's bugged. Enter again. Kill some demons. And we're done. Then we should be able to make more progress. Can buy a few more Genie Gifts. And now we need to do a Fragment of Hope. And enter the next memory fragment. Kill some more enemies. Watch the longest dialogue between a bunch of NPCs there is in the entire game. And we should be done, allowing us to now finally get our last boon points from legacy campaigns. However, if you have not completed what was lost on another character with the quest A Mote of Virtue, you may have to do that before proceeding on, requiring you to just simply pick up the quest A Mote of Virtue here and completing that. Quite a nice story to it. But we are now done with that, allowing us to obtain boon points. We did obtain some bars by completing the quest, but we now need to spend more Genie Gifts to get more currency. These boon points cost 175, unlike Valenhas. We can obtain our first boon point. Then we need to go get the second one, which also costs 175. So if we have no bars there, then we have to buy a total of 7 of these per boon point. Yikes. But again, when this is actually affected by ×2, you'll get double the amount. Claiming our reward, then boon number 3 needs another 7 Genie Gifts, and the same for our final 4th boon. So in order to beat it, you will need a total of 20 Genie Gifts when it is affected by the double legacy campaigns. As it is right now and it's not affected, you need 40 Genie Gifts. So what we ultimately end up with is this. You can see the total amount of Genie Gifts, nearly 200 required to complete all legacy campaigns. Keep in mind though, this is with Path of the Fallen working with the ×2. I don't recommend spending Genie Gifts until it does, but otherwise you'd have to spend, 217.5 or 218 as we spent. Now, double those numbers when you're not spending those Genie Gifts within the ×2 event. And if you have a Signet of Patronage on the campaign, excluding Icewind Dale again, you can halve those required Genie Gifts needed to complete it. Very significant for like Storm Kings, 30 instead of 60. In total, you will get 41 boon points, which is not bad all things considered. And you are saving yourself a ton of Zen. Imagine you went and bought each of these campaigns with the completion token, you can see they all cost around 2000 Zen. That's damn crazy. Only ones I would buy here is potentially Sharandar, Dragonbone Vale, and the Dragon Slayer campaign. But I personally don't think it's worth that much Zen for just a little bit of your time every week to make progress on those campaigns. Even then, if you're just after Boon points, since we're getting 41 from these legacy campaigns, we can get an additional 35 by completing your adventures. You will obtain 4 Boon points from Elemental Evil and 5 from Undermountain, both of which I recommend skipping until you have a lot of time. The other adventures will give you a lot more Boon points for the time spent, except maybe Roth Valley, which only gives 1, but it does have an epic companion and a companion upgrade token pack, which gives 30. Particularly for the Hero's Path, if you're trying to complete the first part, you will need a 3rd Master Boon. And to get to the 3rd Master Boon, you have to get 60 Boon points. So that is why you would, yes, complete your legacy campaigns, and then you just need another 19 Boon points from those adventures and you're done. Eventually, if you wait long enough, I'm sure some of these legacy campaigns will get turned into adventures, just being tied to their storyline quests and getting rid of all the nonsense repeatable quests. Just be aware that some of the Boon points become ridiculously costly, like Boon 6 and 7 of Storm King's Thunder, costing like 14 to 18 freaking Genie Gifts each with the amount of Venom Blood. Again, you may very well want to just run the FBI dungeon and hand in those relics you obtained for that Venom Blood. You'll have to do a little bit of questing to unlock the ability to do so first. Ultimately, if you want to go the real cheap route, you can see exactly how many Genie Gifts you can spend per Boon point. The second column shows how many Boon points you've accumulated with then the amount of Genie Gifts you have spent in order to obtain them. Like you go down here and you can get 33 Boon points with 109 Genie Gifts, but then you can see the gap becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Basically, the last 8 Boon points are going to cost you like 90 Genie Gifts, with them costing like 7.58 all the way up to freaking 18.5. So hopefully this has been somewhat insightful to you guys. The amount of Genie Gifts you would have to spend to complete all legacy campaigns within a matter of hours. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to all these channel members for their added support to help me keep my channel going. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.